For every swing, every moment, the Milwaukee Brewers fight. It's not just about hitting the ball, it's about leaving a legacy.
What's up, Brew Crew? Welcome back to our channel, the meeting point for every passionate Milwaukee Brewers fan. Yeah, I bring you the hottest information, behind-the-scenes scoops, and the most in-depth analysis of our beloved team. Before we dive into today's bombshell news, which is sure to get people talking, I need to ask for that usual favor. If you're not already subscribed, click that subscribe button now and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any updates and you'll help me continue to bring exclusive content with the speed and accuracy you deserve. Our community, the Brew Crew, grows stronger with every new member. Done? Great. So let's get to it, because the Brewers front office has been making moves behind the scenes and I have the details you won't find anywhere else. Let's get straight to the point. The 2025 MLB trade deadline has come and gone, and I know many of you like me were on the edge of your seats, refreshing your news feeds every minute. The big question hanging in the air was, would General Manager Matt Arnold finally pull the trigger and bring in an impact bat to solidify our offense for the postseason push? The answer, as we now know, was a yes, but not in the way many expected. While the spotlights and rumors focused on big-name players who could change the landscape of our lineup, the crucial move was more subtle, more strategic, and in my assessment, extremely intelligent. The news that echoed through Milwaukee was the lack of a major offensive acquisition. But the real story, the one that matters, lies in the details of the trade that didn't happen and the one that did. Sources close to the front office have confirmed to me that the Milwaukee Brewers were seriously in the mix for Ryan O'Hearn, the power-hitting first baseman who was ultimately traded from the Baltimore Orioles to the San Diego Padres. And when I say seriously in the mix, I'm not talking about a mere inquiry. There were proposals on the table. The interest was real, and the intention was clear: to add a left-handed bat with game-changing power to our lineup. O'Hearn, with his 13 home runs and 43 RBIs at the time of the trade, represented exactly the profile that could complement our offense, offering a valuable option against right-handed pitchers and depth off the bench. The idea of having him as a designated hitter, DH option, or even in a platoon at first base was extremely appealing. He would have been the piece that could turn a good offense into a feared offense in the playoffs. However, the deal didn't materialize. And this is where the analysis you only find here comes in. Why didn't it work out? According to my sources, the asking price from Baltimore was deemed prohibitive by our front office. The Orioles, aware of O'Hearn's value in a hot trade deadline market, demanded a package of prospects that Matt Arnold and his team judged to be excessive. We would be talking about giving up young talent from our farm system, pieces that are the future of our franchise, for a player who, while good, would be a short-term rental with certain limitations. Financial discipline and the protection of our future assets have always been a hallmark of the Brewers management, and that philosophy prevailed. While the Padres, perhaps feeling more pressure to make a splash, decided to pay the price, Milwaukee opted for prudence. And that decision, while frustrating for some fans who dreamed of an impact name, needs to be viewed through the lens of sustainability and long-term vision. Parting with top prospects for a few months of a good hitter could compromise our ability to compete in the coming years. Matt Arnold once again showed that he will not make desperate moves. He has a plan and sticks to it. Another name that circulated in the corridors of American Family Field was Eugenio Suarez, the former Arizona Diamondbacks star who ended up with the Seattle Mariners. The case with Suarez was similar, a proven power hitter, but with an acquisition cost, both in prospects and salary, that did not align with the Brewers' strategy. The front office explored the possibility, did their due diligence, but concluded that the cost-benefit was not favorable. This shows us a clear pattern. The search for reinforcements existed, it was active, but not at any cost. The front office's message is unequivocal. We believe in the group we have here. And it's at this point that the narrative shifts. Instead of lamenting who didn't come, we need to analyze who did. The addition of Jansen from the Toronto Blue Jays may not have the glamour of an all-star hitter's name, but it is a masterstroke in terms of roster construction. Jansen is not just a backup catcher. He is one of the best defensive catchers in the league, an expert game caller, and a natural leader in the clubhouse. His pitch framing ability is elite, which means he alone can steal strikes for our pitchers and turn borderline pitches into outs. In a postseason where every pitch counts and games are decided by details, having a receiver with Jansen's game intelligence is an immense competitive advantage. But the impact of his arrival goes far beyond defense. Jansen's presence on the roster frees up William Contreras, our all-star catcher and one of the best hitting catchers in all of MLB, to play more often as the designated hitter, DH. This is huge, Brew Crew. It means we can keep Contreras' bat in the lineup every day, without the physical wear and tear of catching game after game. Keeping our best hitter healthy and productive for the home stretch and the playoffs is perhaps the most important offensive reinforcement we could have made. Therefore, by bringing in Jansen, Matt Arnold not only improved the team's defense and leadership, but also optimized the offensive potential of our biggest star. It was a chess move, while many were expecting a checkers move. It was an acquisition that strengthens the team on multiple fronts, at a much lower cost than what would have been required to bring in O'Hearn or Suarez. This is the hallmark of intelligent management that understands the nuances of modern baseball. The acquisition of Jansen demonstrates a deep understanding of the roster's needs and how to maximize the talents we already possess, rather than just accumulating names. Now, let's deepen the analysis of what this strategy means for the Milwaukee Brewers in practice. With a record of 64 wins and 44 losses, we are not a team that needed a savior. We are a real World Series contender, leading our division and showing consistency throughout the season. What we needed were fine-tunings, pieces that would raise the ceiling of our collective performance, and that is exactly what the arrival of Danny Jansen provided. Think about the direct impact on our pitching staff. Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and our entire bullpen now have the luxury of throwing to two of the best defensive and game-calling catchers in the league. The trust a pitcher has in his catcher is fundamental, and the Contreras-Jansen duo offers the best of both worlds, the offensive power of one and the defensive genius of the other. This will translate into fewer runs allowed, more efficient innings, and ultimately, more wins. The decision not to pay the price for a hitter like Ryan O'Hearn also sends a powerful message to the clubhouse. The front office trusts this group. They trust that young players like Sal Frelick and Garrett Mitchell will continue to develop, that Christian Yelich will maintain his MVP form, and that the core of Willy Adames and Rowdy Tellez can carry the offensive load. Instead of a drastic change, the bet is on the chemistry and continuity of the roster that has put us in this prominent position. This confidence can be a catalyst for performance down the stretch. The players know the responsibility is on them and that the organization believes in their potential to go all the way. Let's be pragmatic. Would the addition of O'Hearn have been good? Yes, without a doubt. He would bring more raw power. But at what cost to the team's dynamic? There would be pressure to put him in the lineup, perhaps at the expense of a player who offers more defensive versatility or better contact. Playoff baseball is about matchups, solid defense, and capitalizing on small opportunities. Danny Jansen positively impacts all of these aspects. He makes us a tougher team to beat in a 7-game series. The ability to have William Contreras as the DH in, say, 4 out of 7 games in a playoff series, keeping his bat fresh and potent, is a weapon that few teams in the National League possess. Our direct rivals, like the Cubs and Cardinals, also made moves. But our acquisition, though less noisy, could prove to be the most impactful. It not only adds a player, but multiplies the qualities of the players around him. That is the definition of a strategic signing. I understand the anxiety of some fans. In an ideal world, we would have added Jansen and an impact hitter. But we live in the real world of baseball, with its market constraints and the need for calculated decisions. Between paying an exorbitant price for a one-dimensional offensive solution and making a surgical acquisition that improves the team as a whole, Matt Arnold chose the second option. And in my opinion, it was the right choice. It demonstrates mature management that doesn't get carried away by the heat of the moment or media pressure. The strength of the Milwaukee Brewers in recent years has been our ability to identify undervalued talent and maximize our resources. The trade for Jansen is a classic example of this philosophy in action. We are betting on our identity, elite pitching and defense, complemented by a timely and versatile offense. In summary, the main story of the trade deadline for the Milwaukee Brewers was not the pursuit of Ryan O'Hearn, but rather the reaffirmation of a winning philosophy. The front office was active, explored high-caliber options, but refused to overpay and compromise the future. Instead, they executed a brilliant and underrated trade that makes us a more complete, more resilient, and more prepared team for the challenges of October. The arrival of Danny Jansen is the piece that solidifies our foundation, allowing our stars like William Contreras to shine even brighter. This team is a legitimate contender, and this move, as discreet as it may seem, reinforces that status. Now, I want to hear from you, the Brew Crew. What is your opinion on the front office's strategy at the trade deadline? Do you think the discipline of not acquiring a big bat, opting instead for the strategic addition of Danny Jansen, was the right call for our title aspirations? Or would you have preferred the front office to pay the necessary price to bring in a name like OHara? Leave your comments below. I want to know what the heart of our fan base is thinking. And don't forget, for in-depth analysis like this and the fastest news on our Milwaukee Brewers, make sure you are subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on. The road to the World Series will be long, and we will cover every step of it right here. I'm counting on you.